Next tonight to something that anyone who lives in a cold place likely cannot live without. We're talking about heat, of course. Weeks after that deadly fire in the Bronx area's frustration and anger is not just apartments, but entire public housing buildings are going cold. Residential energy is responsible for 20% of all greenhouse gas emissions in this country, and the energy in many buildings is largely inefficient. So how can New York City and cities across the country improve? Here's our chief meteorologist, Ginger Zee, with this week's It's Not Too Late.
Hi, I'm Ginger Zee, and it's not too late. I'm standing on top of the Fort Independence houses, one of more than 300 public housing developments in the city of New York alone. One big issue in the city of New York and in many other cities when it comes to public housing: heat.
I live here 12 years and it's been cold every single day.
And I just sleep in layers of clothes when I go to bed, or eat in the living room with my coat on.
Stephen and Lauren are two of more than 700 people who live in the Fort Independence houses right there in the Bronx. Built in 1971, this aging edifice is the property of NYCHA, the New York City Housing Authority. It's the largest landlord in all of New York, overseeing more than 170,000 units. And it's also the largest public housing authority in North America.
Some people turn on their burners on the stove so they can stay warm. I'm like, no, that's not healthy for you. It's toxic.
The problems they're seeing in their building are not unique. Broken boilers also left folks from Queens to Brooklyn without heat this winter.
Breaking news, the devastating fire tearing through a high-rise apartment building here in New York City.
Just last month, 17 people, including 8 children, died in a fire that was started by a space heater in another building in the Bronx.
It was just scary. It was scary. I was more worried about my family than myself.
More than 80% of New York's low-income housing relies on old boilers. Now, those are fueled by natural gas, propane, or oil. So they're bad for the environment, but they're also bad for people. So NYCHA knows it needs to rapidly change. And coincidentally, on the day we come to the Fort Independence houses to talk about energy efficiency and their plans to make things better, the media getting together with the public advocate that is here to fight for the people's right to heat.
NYCHA is the worst landlord in the city.
The boiler's expensive to maintain. Well,
yeah.
The thing is, like, they don't make steam boilers. They make steam boilers. They don't make buildings with steam boilers anymore.
Jordan Bonomo is NYCHA's program manager, so he's responsible for transitioning NYCHA from gas to a healthier electric option. The Fort Independence houses also, happy coincidence, happens to be part of a pilot program with these heat pumps. They are 6 times as efficient as the old boiler system. 7 of their units are now heated and cooled using these heat pumps.
What these do is basically, they're giant air conditioners that can move in both directions. So in the winter, this goes into heating mode and takes heat from outside, even though it's cold, and it transfers it inside.
But getting them up and running is complicated and an extremely long process.
All in all, it was about 10 days per apartment of work when you factor in the plumber, the electrician, the carpenters that are needed.
Not just for the health of our planet, but for the people who live in and around these buildings, has to be paramount. Does it feel like we're behind?
I would love to say that this has been going on, that we've been doing this for longer, but you know, the attention is on right now on this issue, and we are bound by local law 97 to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions 80% by 2050. That's not a really long time.
7 units are heated by this, but there are many more units in this building. When are the rest of the folks in this building going to get the change? When's the next building next door going to get the change?
This was a pilot, and we wanted to really prove that the technology worked and could provide heat.
There are more than 1.2 million public housing units across the nation. And low-income households spend about twice as much on energy as the average household. In general, heating, cooling, and lighting our home is responsible for 20% of our greenhouse gas emissions.
So are we putting it into a 1970s air conditioner or a boiler that was built decades ago? Or are we using that energy in, say, heat pumps? which give us both heating and cooling much more efficiently.
John Rogers is an energy expert who wrote a book about the impacts of low-carbon living.
And I think what we need is to be looking to the building owners and the building managers and the governments, the city, the state, and the federal level, to be driving us in the direction of truly clean energy, of which energy efficiency is a huge piece.
NYCHA says that they hope to deploy heat pumps to more than 50,000 apartments, but that's going to be over the next 10 years, and it's still not even 30% of their properties. The Department of Energy says that with advancements in the cold climate electric heat pump, the average U.S. family could save $500 a year.
I mean, it's freezing in the morning. When you get up, the floor is cold, everything. And I don't think it's fair.
The boiler inside this building is 18 years old, and it went down in early December. They're still waiting on a part. So it's been 2 months of intermittent working of this mobile boiler that they brought in. This thing has had problems too. It's just like a gaping wound that has a Band-Aid in the street. A wound that is in so many other public housing units from here all the way across the country. Something that needs to be worked on, not just for energy efficiency and our planet, but for the people that live inside before it's too late.
Our thanks to Ginger for that.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.